Welcome everyone to our new series of leadership in the era of AI. Like you all know, we are in this time and era where we are going through the most transformative period in human history. The rise of artificial intelligence. AI is reshaping industries, redefining jobs, and accelerating change at a pace few of us have ever experienced. In this era, leadership is no longer about managing people or process, it's about navigating uncertainty, embracing innovation, and most importantly, leading with empathy and a vision in a world where technology can automate tasks but cannot replace human connection. The leaders who will thrive are those who understand that AI is a tool, not a threat, and who harness its power to amplify human potential rather than diminish it. They're agile thinkers, lifelong learners, courageous decision makers who inspire trust and foster collaboration. And today, I'm inviting one such guest who is been in the industry on amazing positions, delivered, been in operations, taking care of huge teams, has been a lifelong learner, so a good student, and then becoming a great speaker, been a LinkedIn top voice, has been going out and speaking in various companies, amazing names, 15 countries, so much that he's accomplished that it's my extreme pleasure to invite him today in this series as the speaker to let us know how leadership has to evolve in the era of AI. So let's all really put our hands together to invite our today's guest speaker, Mr. Anshuman Tiwari. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Nutunji, and namaste, and glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and it's really amazing to know your journey being a lifelong student and then so eagerly sharing all the knowledge and expertise that you've learned. We need these kind of people today in the era where there's so much information available. Actually, someone's experience when it reaches out to people is what really validates the knowledge. So, in this domain of era of AI that we are experiencing, my first question to you is how do you define leadership in today's rapidly evolving AI driven world? What's changing?
So, firstly, thank you for your kind words, Nutun. And my first response would be that we are not living in some AI era. I think this is overhyped a little bit, like many other
Okay,
technologies that people have to sell over the years, it's starting from electricity to car to medicines to anything that you can think of, including computers, internet, everything. Everything was going to solve the humanity's problems and landing us on Mars and those kind of things. So
correct.
the reality is always a little more sober. So
Mhm.
we are living in our world. AI is part of it.
Okay,
So that is one way I look at it. Now, by the same token, therefore, the definition for leadership doesn't really change. Leadership is
okay,
about taking the organization or whichever entity you are working for, if it is the country, your community, your organization, you are taking it forward, of course, with a value-based approach.
yes,
So progress, taking a group forward is, in my view, leadership. That doesn't change. That won't change for at least 100 more years, which we certainly won't be around, but we think I would think that way. Then
okay,
sub parts of those things would be, maybe one role for leadership is certainly clarity that or decisiveness. Leadership provides that clarity and decisiveness. People can have points of views, and eventually the leader has to say that, okay, I've heard everything, I've understood everything. Let us
yeah,
decide this thing and move forward.
correct,
That role doesn't really change. AI or related technologies will help leader in that process. So I think, what are we doing? Why are we doing this at all? So what should
hmm.
we do? How will we do it? These kind of questions will remain. So I think that is point one. I would think of this way.
Okay.
The second would be asking better questions. I think certainly AI will be able to help leaders ask better questions if they prepare, right? So
Yeah.
if they prepare for a discussion or review or something, uh, take an example, profit and loss statement or a report or an audit that has been submitted. A leader can then use AI or at least generative type of AI, Gen AI, to prepare for that meeting and ask better questions. So that I
Yeah.
think certainly is something I foresee. And the third is interesting in my view. I would say that uh, there may be a slight change in how people get work done. So,
Hmm.
but that time will tell whether agentic AI will fulfill its promise or not.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But in general, I am quite clear that core of leadership, which is taking the organization forward, doesn't change.
Hmm.
How you lead, the tools of the trade may change. New tools
Yeah.
will get added.
Yeah.
Um, that's how I would respond to your question. So, summary, uh, in principle, leadership doesn't change, but the tools could change, and which is fine. That has always been changing
Correct.
every 5 10 years. Something new happens, so that I'm um, quite okay with.
Okay. So that brings me to the next question that you said leader is about the decision making. So how is AI changing decision making process for leaders across industry?
So see, I think one response is that I'm a little averse to everybody being called a leader and everything is a leader. I don't come from that school which says that your 2 square feet is your lead. You are the leader of your 2 square feet. And all that is nonsense actually.
Yeah.
We are, most of us are followers. And there is no shame in that.
Correct.
Leadership is generally overhyped to sell more books and podcasts and, uh, and courses. But if you strip down, much of what we do is to follow a leader's guidance and advice. If
Correct.
everybody is a leader in terms of taking a decision and taking things forward, it is anarchy. What are you
Hmm.
doing?
Hmm.
So the closest leadership that we all know are armed forces. Armed forces across the world are very clear.
Correct.
For a battalion, for a Pelton, this is the leader, and then you follow that leader.
Yes.
So with that, I think reframing of definition, I will take your question now, is that the decision-making process, of course, changes. I work in HR operations, and I've for my most of my career has been in transformation. So from that point of view, if I see, I think decision making will certainly be faster because more data, information, inference, and will be available.
Yeah.
Of course, this is a double-edged sword. More information, data doesn't mean you can take decision faster. It might mean you can slow down.
Yeah.
But if people are smart enough and there are good managers who look at all the information available, they can use AI to synthesize
Hmm.
and process that information and give advice or at
Hmm.
least give directional advice. So that I think will certainly help because that will improve the speed of decision making.
Yeah.
I think the next could be there will certainly be some level of automation. So
Yeah.
currently AI is able to do a lot of automation for personal productivity, kind of, reading your emails, answering some emails, or
Yeah.
sending birthday greetings on a particular date to people. All that is the easy stuff, right? So,
Correct.
but within this year or maybe next year, most large organizations would have adopted agentic AI to make things happen. And that I think will mean that routine decisions will become automated.
Hmm.
And that takes out some decisions from the whole thing. So you don't have to do many things because you have a set a rule and that rule will take care.
Correct.
And therefore leaders can then spend time on maybe managing the exceptions or looking at the ethical moral dilemmas or
Yeah.
those trade-offs that Suppose somebody is just outside has requested for a sabbatical. By rule, the agent will say that the sabbatical is not applicable. But in this case, the leader can say, no, 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 I know this person. He or she has given his heart and soul for the company. I am more than happy to approve.
Correct.
Now, 99 out of 100 cases, the agent will decide. One, maybe the leadership team will
Human.
have to decide. I think one more point I can add is there. I've said this earlier, but I can say this now is that AI should improve the thinking or our thinking, not
Hmm.
replace it.
Hmm.
When we start looking at, and this is true for any technology, when you start
Yeah.
looking or depending on any technology, it's a little bit of a problem. I mean, I
Hmm.
sometimes lightheartedly say that the Nike shoe that you bought is not doing the running. You are still running, right?
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
the the shirt and the shorts you bought from Decathlon and the watch you bought from Garmin or anything else, they are not doing the running. Uh,
Yeah.
you still have to do the running. I think same applies to leadership as well. You still have to
Hmm.
lead. All
Yeah.
these tools will help you lead better, certainly.
Hmm.
But if you start thinking that the smartwatch you bought will make you healthier by just wearing it,
It'll not happen.
that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in anything. So
Yes.
why should I expect that to happen in when AI comes to more managerial, or meeting rooms? It's an ally, it's a friend, it's a guide, assistant, and if I use it well, I should get better. My thinking should improve or get faster at least,
Yeah.
and that's how I would think the impact on decision making. Sorry, long answer, but
No,
hopefully,
it's absolutely relevant. In fact, your answer is taking me to the next question that
ah,
so what mindset change or new skills leaders will have to really thrive in alongside the AI technology? Because yes, there is a scare of AI. And because there are so many things getting automated, the worry is that whether I'll have a job in the next year or next 5 years. So in these kind of evolving technology, what is a new skill set or mindset that leaders need to really build?
it's not new. So the see, leadership is an elevated skill set or
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah,
By definition, if it should not change too often. If it starts changing too often, then it is probably not an elevated mindset, right? So
hmm.
when you keep moving up, the principles
Hmm.
become more important than the actions that you take. So
Yeah,
in that sense, I don't see, and I'm not belittling AI at all. I
hmm.
understand AI. I'm a heavy user myself in my job as well, and I see how it will change. I might be wrong, but directionally, I think I'm right. So I understand what it does, and I'm saying this from a position of understanding, not from a position of how many people talk of AI today. They see a 5-minute podcast and then they are an expert on AI. So that is a trap we should avoid. But
Yeah,
responding to your question, I think three mindsets usually, and I'm using the word leadership and management interchangeably because that's how we believe. Good
yeah,
leaders are good managers also, and good managers can become good leaders as well.
yeah.
So one mindset is of curiosity. I think second would be learnability, I would say, and third would be systems thinking is or process orientation, if you can use that word. Um, so from a curiosity point of view, of course, leaders don't have to become programmers or coders or AI experts or anything of that kind, but they should understand what it does and how it does. So I think that is a key thing. So curiosity is a mindset which should not change.
Hmm.
Learnability is another mindset which will be even more important today because if
Hmm.
leaders are talking AI day in day out, and when the first question is asked about AI, they fumble. Then it tells the
Yes,
company that look, this is all gas. This guy or this lady doesn't know anything. She's just talking out of her hat, or
yeah,
he, right? So the responsibility of bridging that gap is on the leader or the senior manager. Learnability is extremely important, and quick learnability. You can't leave the thing to younger people and say that they will figure out. Then one day they will take your job, and then you will feel that these people have taken my job, because
Yeah.
you did not learn. So curiosity, learnability, and I think systems or process thinking, although system and process are different things, but I'm using it in the same space.
Yeah.
I think because AI will affect processes, customer experience, governance, you know, all of it together. Uh, People who look at a function in slight isolation will have problem. So the
Hmm.
interconnectedness will be a little bit easier and maybe better. So I think this has always been there, but AI will help in some way, and every new technology helps. So not just AI. I
Hmm.
keep saying that your biggest competitor, Nutan, is no longer someone who knows more. It is someone who can learn faster. So
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
because this is not the last technology that will disrupt us.
Hmm.
I certainly plan to work for 25 more years. Looks like you also have plans. Many
Yes.
other people might have. Every 3, 4, 5 years, something like this will happen. Today it is AI, tomorrow it will be something else. AGI is already being talked about. Who knows what
Yeah.
else will come?
Correct.
The onus of will always be on us to learn all
Hmm.
of that and utilize all
Hmm.
of that. So
Hmm.
I think that goes back to my first point of curiosity, and second of learnability, and
Hmm.
the third around process, which is how do I now use this knowledge that I have acquired
Hmm.
to make the organization better. So
Hmm.
these are not new. Your question was about new skills or mindsets. These are not
Hmm.
new at all,
Hmm.
but their relevance in the current setup is certainly new, I would say. So that would be how I would respond. But I'll end this response with maybe certainly again repeating that your biggest competitor is no longer someone who knows more. It is someone who learns more or better or
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah. So, people generally, I mean, mid-age, especially the audience that I deal with, their concern becomes that already work hours are so extended. And on that, because technology is moving faster, AI has come, automation is happening, new information keeps pouring in. I really don't have the time to study or keep learning, upgrading my knowledge. How do you really figure out time in your day-to-day routine? Do you have some pattern on how do you do this, which you said curiosity and learnability? Where do you find that time and how do you manage? Because I'm sure there's so much going on around. You have been driving such amazing teams, doing so much. Where do you find the time? What will you tell people? How do they find time to really do this?
It's a very tough one to answer, Nutan, because I have never felt that if I want to do something, I don't have the time. Usually not, and I then you really don't want to do it. If you can't find time, then you don't want to do it. You time is then an easy excuse because time is an inanimate item. It will not talk back. If I accuse Nutan of saying that you didn't do this for me, you can fight back and say that, but I sent you on time, you didn't check your email or something like that.
Correct.
If you blame time, time will not talk back. So you can conveniently blame time, and multiple other inanimate concepts. So I see it this way: if you really want to learn, you will find the time. Uh,
Hmm.
that is one way to look at it. The other way, is I certainly understand that particularly early in your career, in many people's career, I have a 24-year-old son who's working for the last year or so. He doesn't have time. He's at his office more than 12 hours a day. And I keep telling him that this is the best thing that has happened to you because
Yeah,
this is the time you will learn.
I agree
Uh,
completely.
so early in your career, certainly, maybe there is more demand on your time, and you have to also because most of our education system doesn't prepare us to work. So
Yeah.
when you get to a job, you don't know many things. You've
Hmm.
just been prepared in an academic way, not in a vocational way.
Yes.
So, um, I, your question was more around, people not finding time and therefore how I find time. Firstly, I think people do find time. If they don't find time, they are just lying to themselves. They really don't want to do it. Or they are scared of something or nervous about something or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, multiple combinations of that,
Yes.
particularly after the first few years in their career. First few years, I can understand that many people will find it very difficult
Hmm.
because the demands are different.
Hmm.
After you have had 3, 4, 5 years, you should become a mini expert in something. You should be able to do what you used to do in 4 hours, you should now be able to do in 1 hour.
Hmm.
So the remaining 3 hours or two or one, whatever is left, you can then
Yeah.
devote to learning.
Hmm.
And frankly, what is the option? This is like you are drowning and somebody is throwing you a rope. Your
And you don't
choice.
want to take it. Yeah.
Don't catch the rope. Drown, die.
Yeah.
Who nobody is going to cry for you in today's environment, and never actually across history. Somebody is drowning. Fine, one less competition. Why?
Yes.
Why would a colleague or a friend or a manager or anybody, really try to save you if you are not willing to take the rope that is
On
being
your
thrown to
own.
you?
True.
So, maro. So,
But I'm
just
really
to
aligned. Yeah.
respond to the last point. So, how
Yeah.
do I find time? I try and use things in a way that so one example is that I didn't get this generative AI concepts early on, how to use, how to prompt.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I started giving it some work and started learning from that. So when you put
Yeah.
something to some work and learn from that and all that, even some of my LinkedIn posts, I generate the image from. So I write the post and ask ChatGPT or Gemini to generate an image.
Yeah.
In that process, I've learned how to ask questions, how to prompt it, how to get better, and that makes it a little exciting. I'm doing a course as well. Additionally, enrolled for another one more in the coming weeks. So yeah, so time to निकालना पड़ेगा.
Bilkul. And I'm absolutely aligned with this that uh, if you say you don't have time means that's not your priority.
Yeah, I mean, if you say this for everything, right? See,
Yeah.
one or two things, okay, understand. You had five priorities. You have a young family or early marriage. You have other priorities in life, and which
Yeah.
is fine totally. But if you keep saying that for weeks and months and years, then there is a problem.
Yeah. So that brings me to the next question. See,
So
somewhere because of AI, like initially when internet came or when technology came in, computers came in, I remember the early age where I would go to the bank, ask that guy, print a statement, give it to me, and I would come back home. Or I would go and withdraw cash from a teller. Now things then changed, evolved where I would just go to ATM, so there's no human connect. Now with AI coming in, again, more automation, not really so much required to come, debate, discuss. Data is coming in. Like you said, certain decisions will get automated. In such kind of era, to really maintain that human connect and lead people, what role does emotional intelligence play in leading teams?
see, I am a little bit of a wide spectrum kind of a thinker on this. That
Yeah.
uh, we tend to glamorize the recent past. So,
Hmm.
what is happening to us is the first time in history, it is the worst in the history, best in the history, everything we. If we just care to study how industry and enterprise has evolved, what is happening today has happened so many times
Yes.
from a social context. Forget the technology, from a social
Hmm.
context. So, what are
Yeah.
the social symptoms? Less human interaction.
Yeah.
So when human beings were living in a tribe, there was 100% human interaction. Everything was happening. There was no language also, so everything was a human
Yes.
interaction.
Yes.
Fast forward thousands of years, language was built. Nothing else to do all day, so you are studying and you are understanding, and you then of course modern era, and so increasingly the extent and intensity of human interaction has been coming down because maybe
Hmm.
humans don't need it that much. We have
Hmm.
evolved. So
Hmm.
why are we looking at this technology from a blame point of view.
Hmm.
Uh, Human beings emotionally have evolved a little more. Of course, this
Hmm.
doesn't mean that we don't need another human. We do
Hmm.
need.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I come from that school, saying that,
Hmm.
uh, and picking on the example that you shared on banking and other services. Uh, in the 19th century, early 20th century, you needed a medicine, you had to go to a doctor who had a chemist and a druggist. They will actually make the medicine for you,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? That was
Yeah.
high level of human
Correct.
interaction, everything. Then,
Correct.
industry came along and you started getting your pills or whatever tablets in packaged form, right? Why don't we bother about that?
Hmm.
So the same thing is happening today for with banks or
Hmm.
in not so only 10 years ago you had to pay your Airtel or whatever bill at that time, telephone bill. You had to go to our BSNL. You have to go to a
Yes.
place and pay the bill, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
you are enjoying that. I don't have to go anymore.
Yes.
Same way people will enjoy this also. So I don't see that it is an issue at all. I think emotional intelligence is more about self rather than about uh, the ability to interact with others. First, we talk to ourselves. We are secure in the understanding that we are okay, we are enough, and then start interacting. Now, to come to your point, so I think in many ways, if AI will be able to assist us with the language,
Hmm.
emotions are still human. Um,
Hmm.
the AI is a very good guess master. So based on what it knows, multiple factors, it can
Yes.
make a guess. And that guess will be really widely accurate because it has so many parameters to make that guess that it can
Correct. Correct.
guess. Uh, Guess is a loose word, so maybe estimate, right? So,
Yes.
but the spontaneity of human emotions will remain uniquely human. Uh,
Yes.
um, like the ability to gossip is uniquely human. No other human gossips, right?
Yeah.
So no other animal gossips. That is likely to remain. So I am not too worried about. I think the AI brings language and humans bring emotions. Second point, I would think that in any case, AI or even before AI, most transformations don't fail because of technology. They fail because it was not communicated properly. Dr.
Hmm.
J.M. Juran, who's the father figure in quality management, which is my primary subject
Hmm.
for life, used
Hmm.
to say that it is not the technological change, it is the social impact of the technological change
Hmm.
that puts fear in people. The
Yes.
exact quote is slightly different, but I'm giving you a summary.
Yeah.
So the transformation fails because people are uncertain, fearful, or nervous. And in this case, the leader's job will be to make sure to show empathy, to really understand people. All the time that you are saving from, the assistance from AI should now be
Hmm.
invested in people. So
Hmm.
um, if I'm saving time from other tasks which are taken over by AI, can I not find time, maybe half of that for some people, somebody in my team who's struggling to help them,
Hmm.
support them?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
should be able to find.
Hmm.
And I think the third will be trust. It will take many centuries for human beings to trust a machine.
Yeah.
We will still be trusting other human beings.
Yeah.
Even if it means that our trust is broken at times, even then we will continue to trust human beings. So I think the language part, the the social impact of transformation and this trust part will be the three ways in which we'll have to readjust to AI being in amongst us from an
Hmm.
emotional intelligence point of view. That was your question. So I'm just
Yeah.
keeping it to the context of the
Yeah.
question.
So, what would be your final piece of advice to young aspiring leaders in this age?
Firstly, work really, really hard. So